Like,
yeah, the cocaine's not really a quote-unquote airplane drug.
Doesn't seem like a very chill drug to begin with.
No.
What's the ideal situation for cocaine? Like in a pretend office? Like where you just can mess it up?
Yeah.
a closed bar where everyone's talking about restaurants going to start. That's the ideal.
The ideal setting is where everyone will listen to you and only you. And,
A mirror, if you have a mirror to look at, you're pretty much...
yeah.
And you're in like a nice suit, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you can get a little sweaty around the collar and
there's
still be in a
somebody
nice suit.
there's somebody on a computer ready to Google whatever you can't think of.
Exactly.
Who directed the Refrigerator Day episode?
I've got it for you, Mr.
I've got it right here. It's Misha Barton's
Bilson's
dad or
grandfather.
whatever it was.
Rachel Bilson.
Rachel Bilson's
Honeys, we're home. Hello, it's Friday, and you know what that means. Welcome to the Sinclairity, A Dinosaurs Tale podcast. I am your host. We're gonna need another Timmy, and my co-host.
And I'm Ben Handupme. This is episode 20. Tim, that was the weirdest fucking intro you've done so far.
I'm sorry, I tried to do something very niche, and I fucked myself up, even though I was practicing it.
But yeah, welcome to the podcast, episode 20. Today we're going to be talking about the season 2, episode 12 episode Refrigerator Day, which was released December 11th, 1991.
Yep, and it's basically a Christmas episode, pretty much.
Yeah, essentially, it's a fake holiday episode. And we missed it for Christmas. I don't remember what episode came out on Christmas. I think the one we did with Adel about the first divorced dinosaur came out on Christmas.
Yeah, and if you haven't heard that one yet, you should go back and listen to it because it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Adel made Tim cry. It was a good event.
No. He thought I was
kind
crying.
of made you cry. He didn't think you were crying, but that was enough to ruin his life, I think.
Yeah, but
he felt incredibly awkward.
Yeah,
he made sure to check on you later. But today we have special guests on the podcast. Tim, do you want to introduce them?
Yes, today we have Marty and Sarah from the Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling podcast. Hello, guys. How you doing?
Hey, happy Refrigerator Day to everybody.
Happy
Thank you
Refrigerator
so
Day.
much.
Come in and buy paint.
Thank you so much for having us on here. I've got my styrofoam cooler full of White Claws, and I'm ready to podcast.
I'm the baby, and you know what you gotta do.
Perfect.
Yes. So, thank you for being here, guys. One of the first things we like to ask our guests is like, growing up, like, what was your interaction with dinosaurs? Like, did you
watch the show and the animal?
Yeah. Did you watch it as a kid, or are you watching it for the first time now?
So I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier, before we were recording. My household expressly forbade dinosaurs. Despite that, I had a very strong inclination toward the baby dinosaur, and I got one of those toys with the squeezy. It was like maybe a straw or something, and it was the baby, and you could like do a couple moves with it. And I cherished it because I always felt like that baby animal from the Muppets, like we had Goofy, we had a connection like that goes deeper than words. So never watched an episode until today because still part of me was like, I don't know, dinosaurs might not be, I don't know, edifying. I don't know why I was banned from it. But yeah, I was really happy to watch this episode and finally be like in on dinosaurs today, years and years later.
It's exciting.
Yeah, what about you, Marty?
Okay, so for me, I never watched the show, never watched Dinosaurs. I thought it was just like, I think that I kind of figured out that it was like just like the Roseanne show, but with dinosaurs. I think that's how it was like kind of advertised or whatever. And I'm trying to think of when that was on, I was probably watching like
porn.
some awful porn. No, I was probably watching
I've heard his comedy album. You're probably right.
I think it came. I think it was against my Unsolved Mysteries, and when I was a little kid, man, I had to have my Unsolved Mysteries. So I definitely because I was looking at the television lineups for '91, so I definitely would have been watching Unsolved Mysteries.
I was allowed to watch that.
That was my. I would watch Unsolved Mysteries. You would. Yeah, no, I don't know why I dug it so much. So.
I thought that show captured real Civil War ghosts, and I was like waiting for it to be on the news. Like I couldn't believe that they had captured it, and I was like, why isn't the world making a bigger deal out of this? And then I found out they were reenactments.
Yeah, one of the things that Sarah and I like to do is there's this this YouTube channel, and the guy just puts the whole lineup of all the new TV shows for like 91, 92, 95, 97. So we'll watch those a lot, which are so awesome. Just the intros back when like theme songs used to be like really cool. And I remember the year we saw the Dinosaurs one, and I was like, what a weird show. And then we watched some like making of thing or whatever.
They would like put you eye level at the dinosaurs and like take you through, and we really enjoyed that.
They showed a lot.
We love craftsmen. We love a good craftsmanship video.
And then like we talked about before we started recording, I had watched like some YouTube show about like making fun of like very special episodes or kind of like showing like very special episode sitcoms. And they had the steroid episode, which I can't wait till you cover that on this show. It'll be fantastic. But I remember watching it and just being like, what is this show? I think I thought kind of too it was like one of those like Family Matters type of shows. You know, just kind of like, okay, and it's the kids and I felt very proud of myself now, thinking like that I was cynical enough back then to be like, this is just a bunch of garbage, man. They're trying to feed me, and I'm not gonna watch it, man. I listen to Skid Row, man. I'm not gonna watch this crap. Get out of here.
And here's me who wanted to watch it so bad but was forbidden. Gosh, what a fun pair.
It's so funny. We interviewed we had my friend Mike Brody, who's a stand-up comedian, was on the podcast last week. And he was like a high school punk rocker when the show was on. So his whole thing, like, he's like, yeah, I never saw it because I was like getting into drugs and drinking at the time because I was like 15. And it was not like the thing he would have watched. But he said he remembered it being like advertised really heavily. And it was like really like.
It was the show. Yeah, it was going to be the show.
It was back in the day, too. When you had a good advertising campaign, you could be anywhere because there was just like 4 routes to see media. And it was like, wow, dinosaurs must be a thing. Survivor? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they definitely. We talked about this in the last episode, the episode we did with Aaron, about how they definitely had a plan to make like this baby like a major thing, like the catchphrase and everything.
That baby feels like very special to me. Somebody brought a dinosaur baby to a freelance wrestling show, and I think I started a "Gotta Love Me" chant, and everybody joined in, and it was like really special.
That'd be amazing.
I feel like it's very like Baby Yoda, where it's like they knew like, oh, this is gonna be pretty big.
And the baby doesn't have to do much. There's like a zen-like nothingness to the baby. I think they were right. They stumbled onto something there with that baby.
Yeah.
I have a puppet of the baby at my apartment. I'm babysitting for my ex, so I'm not at my place right now. But I have a lot of dinosaurs merch.
Was there a Pizza Hut dinosaur toy giveaway?
I don't know. It's possible.
Okay.
Was that the only one I had?
No, specifically is the McDonald's ones, which
there was McDonald's like little hand puppets.
The McDonald's ones were little squeezy things. Like you squeeze them, there's like a straw to make them move.
I think the hand puppets might have been Land Before Time or one of those other dinosaurs.
And they did it for
I can picture them.
Lost.
They did it for Jurassic Park too. I think Lost World. I think they did that.
That might have been it too.
Jurassic Park too.
Okay.
So they had the McDonald's toys, and then they had actual action figures, which I still want, and then they just did a line of just the Funkos, which I have all of them now.
Okay.
Yeah, this is timing really well because Dinosaurs is going to be added to Disney Plus January 29th.
Come on, that'll make it so easy.
You guys are going to be rich.
It's really funny because one of the things the reason I was like, I'll do this podcast is because it wasn't accessible and it made it really funny to me. Like, let's do a podcast about a show where like nobody can watch it unless they watch shitty versions of it on YouTube or pay money. But like that's a lot.
I love when I watch movie review shows and people are like, regretfully had to go to Daily Motion to watch this, and I'm very sorry to the movie industry. It's like, don't worry, man, you can't find that movie anywhere.
I regretfully watched it in GIFs over a series of Tumblr pages.
This is why I just have a VPN so I can obtain the media I need to. I bought the DVDs to Dinosaurs because it did feel like I needed to own them if I was going to do a whole podcast.
Are they the DVDs if you watch now, you have to watch all the commercials at the beginning?
No. I wish.
We had one of those where we couldn't. We were at Sarah's parents' house, and they put on an old. What was the Charlie Brown DVD?
The Charlie Brown Christmas special.
And it's all these things you have to watch. And her dad's like, "Fast forward!" And it was like, "You can't." And he goes, "What do you mean you can't?"
He goes, "We paid for this," and it's like, and I was like, literally, we have this discussion every year when we play this DVD that you bought like 8 years ago.
It was fun to watch. Yeah. Like, you wouldn't steal a car, would you?
You would have been playing through these previews.
The concept is if you stole a car and the car was still there for the other person as well, you would steal a car.
Sure.
Yeah, if I just kept making copies of the car, for sure.
Yeah, if I could
I'd help.
Copy a car.
And bring a few to my friends.
It's a ridiculous advertising campaign.
I think that would be really so funny if somebody actually like was a hardened criminal. And it's like, you wouldn't steal a car, would you? And the guy's like, of course I've stolen cars before. It's not a big deal. And I stole this too. Yeah.
Yeah, now that's how that guy got into pirating.
Yeah.
It's like he saw that commercial and was like, what, maybe it is for guys like me.
I'm part of the club.
Yeah. I thought it was just nerds that got to steal content off the internet. Now I can do it too.
Well,
gotta steal a car with a DVD player though first.
Ben, do you want to give a little summary of this
some more information about it?
Yeah.
I have like no, for some reason in front of me is the steroids episode now because I want to find out what season that was. Let me pull up my actual notes.
I also did a little research while we were talking, and eventually season 2 the show was on TGIF.
Wow.
It was in the TGIF block, which
it's a Michael Jacobs show. Like
Boy Meets World.
Yeah,
I definitely on Fridays I was renting movies and stuff like that. I was too cool.
TGIF was forbidden fruit for me because there was like there would be like one show on there that I was allowed to watch amidst like others that I either didn't know about or was definitely banned from. Maybe at a sleepover, but probably I'd be like, or we could play a game.
They should have had like a thank goodness it's Friday lineup for people that weren't allowed to watch TGIF.
I'm sure that would have been a great concept for like a more religious channel.
Thank Herbert it's Friday.
Thank Herbert it's Friday. And they would have just had all like religious themed shows. Because one of the things that we've noticed when we watch when we watch all the videos of like the theme songs to all the TV shows, and the old TV show themes were great because it was like, here's everything you need to know about the show. And we're off to the races. But what's so funny is every new season, and this shows how like Hollywood has always kind of been like just copying everything. And well, that worked for them. Let's do it. Every new episode, every new season, you know what the popular show was the year before because it was like after like Different Strokes and Webster were big hits. It's like, you like little adopted black kids? Well, how about a whole town of them? It's adopted black kid town. And then
it's so clear why it didn't work.
Yeah, or it's like, oh, you like the Golden Girls? Well, what about 10 old men living together? They're even grosser than women. Oh, no. It's just like every episode is like the like not like whether it's the nanny. It's like, okay, we have this magical housekeeper.
She's a little lady made from another place. You're like, oh boy.
There was one where it was like, why was the lady a ghost? There was like a ghost nanny. She's like
ghost nanny.
She like
that's amazing.
She was responsible for somebody's death or something.
You know what's
there's so many of those.
What's funny is that there's an episode that we already watched where they take all the tropes like. Because like you see in this episode, we'll get into it, like the little TV spots that they do. They do ones where they did one where it was like the fall TV lineup, and they had like all these ones like those Beckelsons. They had one where it was a ghost marries a district attorney, and then they have all kids who are all district attorneys.
They're all ghosts and all district attorneys.
We were blown away at how like subversive and like smart this show was. Like it was kind of like Futurama, like hitting on all those levels of like sarcasm and like the with the future and the past and everything. And it was I was very impressed.
Yeah, we'll
get to it later. And this episode has probably one of my favorite exchanges later where they go to Cave Mart.
Yes.
Which is funny. They went to a store that is extinct in real life too now. Like,
The circle of life is also
the circle
gone.
of life. Yeah. that really life imitating art, whatever. Like it's that's antediluvian now as well. But yeah, this episode, as I said, is Refrigerator Day. It was written by Victor Fresco, who wrote for like Alf and My Name Is Earl, and he writes some more Dinosaurs episodes later on. And it was directed by Bruce Bilson, who's written directed a few of the episodes so far. And his granddaughter Rachel Bilson was Summer Roberts on the OC.
Wow.
Whoa!
Hollywood royalty.
That's the first time I mentioned that fact, even though this is like the 8th episode he's done. I just didn't make the connection.
That's wild. I had no idea.
Save it for us because we're big OC heads, so we appreciate you
Orange
holding on to that
Cassidy
one.
heads.
Yeah,
the only thing I know about the OC is the what you say shooting video thing. That's all. And Adam Birdie's in it. That's all I know about it.
And there's a joke about there's a really funny joke about Death Cab for Cutie.
Is it Dashboard?
In an episode.
Oh, Death Cab. Yeah. About crying and playing acoustic guitar. Yeah, that was good. That's like a meme now.
I was in a band with my friend Chris, and he loved like teen dramedy, like not dramedies, but he loved those shows. So like we had a lot of songs about Degrassi, and then he also wrote a lot of songs about the OC, and he wrote songs about Dawson's Creek because he would just like he would work out in the mornings and he would just turn on Dawson's Creek, and then he'd be like, "Hey Tim, check out these lyrics I wrote." I'm like, dude, I don't even know what you're writing
just
about.
Lyrics, or did he also play music to them?
No, he did. He
what era Degrassi was he watching? What
Can
era
I get
Degrassi?
his number?
I love all eras of Degrassi. So he was watching. It was probably the newest season at the time, which was
the Netflix one.
Before that, it was.
Oh, okay.
It was. I think it's still technically called Next Generation, or not Next Generation, but Next Gen. And
Next Gen.
Yeah. So it was like
Next Generation's my favorite.
Yeah, it was songs about characters who most people probably wouldn't even know what he's talking about. Because it was like about
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it was about this girl named Anya who did cocaine, and then she wanted to join the Air Force, but she was too high on cocaine, so she failed her Air Force test.
Too high on cocaine to fly a plane.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. That seems like the system is pretty solid. If you are on cocaine, you shouldn't be able to fly military
Checks
planes.
out.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you going to right yourself after having a few drinks, though? You got to get into the flying spirit.
I got to loosen up. Have you ever tried to do cocaine while flying a plane? It's nearly impossible.
I just love
I've been on a plane on cocaine before, but not piloting it, so it's a little different. Because I was leaving somewhere back when I did that, and I was like, I can't bring it with me because I'm paranoid of getting caught. But then I realized I was also too fat for my seat, on cocaine, having the worst experience on a plane I've ever had in my life. I've only been on a plane like 3 times, too. Like,
the cocaine's not really a quote-unquote airplane drug.
Doesn't seem like a very chill drug to begin with.
No.
What's the ideal situation for cocaine? Like in a pretend office? Like where you just can mess it up?
Yeah.
A closed bar where everyone's talking about restaurants going to start. That's the ideal.
The ideal setting is where everyone will listen to you and only you. And
a mirror? If you have a mirror to look at, you're pretty much...
And you're in like a nice suit, you know? It's like you can get a little sweaty around the collar and
there's
still be in a nice suit.
There's somebody on a computer ready to Google whatever you can't think of.
Exactly.
Who directed the Refrigerator Day eepisode?
I've got it for you, Mr.
I've got it right here. It's Misha Barton's dad or whatever it was.
Rachel Bilson.
Rachel Bilson's on.
It was just Rachel Bilson.
Sorry. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I don't know. Did you have any more, Ben? Or
that's pretty much everything. The only trivia on this episode was that 2 pieces of dialogue were cut for the syndication on Disney, but it does not list which 2 pieces.
God, Disney's always
I'm not
doing
really
that.
sure.
Yeah.
Could it have been? Could they have won a little? Oh, what about I'm going to go out to my garage and kill myself?
Oh, that's possible.
Oh, yeah.
I bet that was it.
That
you're
is probably
so
it.
Smart.
We were like, whoa, they kept going pretty hard on
he
that.
said it twice. He said it 2
Yeah.
times where he's like, well, I guess I'll go
death
in
is
the
a
garage.
joke on the show.
Hang myself. I'll go in the garage and hang myself. Yeah.
I think it's the dinosaur lifestyle that makes it so it's literally constantly mortality is just not regarded, like at all. Like they don't care about it.
They don't care.
Murder
but we
happens
also
a lot.
think that there's a little element too of like that boomer, like I hate my wife, like I hate my family humor, where it's just like, oh, you want to? What did you say?
Earl
like
sucks.
You're not getting out of this one by hanging yourself, pal.
Yeah, it was like a Honeymooners episode. You're not taking the easy way out and hanging yourself. We're gonna get to the bottom
We
of
gotta
this.
suffer through this life together.
Yeah, it's all those Earl is all those tropes rolled into one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's the worst. He's the worst, honestly. In general, like this episode is like not a terrible example. Like he's fun in this episode, in my opinion. He's goofy, but the past few episodes we did were like probably the most sexist episodes we've approached so far. Like the one we had Aaron on was like called How to Pick Up Girls, and it was like this like fucking Christopher Milani from like SVU and what's that summer camp movie with the David Wayne?
Hot American Summer.
Wet Hot American Summer. Yeah, the cook from that movie was in it as like a pickup artist that was red pilling Robbie the whole time.
Oh no,
He was like a fucking Reddit user. It was the worst.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
He was like, "Oh, we should need to go back before civilization," you know? And it was just the worst. And so Aaron Keefe was like, "Yeah, if you guys do any other podcasts in the future, I'll come back, but I'm not coming back for this show."
Also, we learned that she had a very like traumatic experience about the movie Labyrinth. So puppets were like anything that wasn't a Muppet puppet, it was like just weird to her.
There were certain moments like where his boss was really talking directly at him, where it's like they'd never designed the boss to not look mean, so when they tried to make him look nice even in a fantasy sequence, it was like more unsettling than the eyes when he was designed the way he was supposed to. Like that kind of messed me up a little bit.
Yeah, I have some notes about that because I thought the scene was going somewhere else. Like I thought it was real, but he was building him up.
I did too. I thought that would have been more interesting writing.
I thought that they were just gonna do Christmas Vacation, and he was gonna like kidnap the boss. I literally was like, they're gonna do Christmas Vacation. Christmas Vacation might not have become a big Christmas gigantic hit yet. But I thought, I'm like, he's gonna kidnap him, and it's gonna be
refrigeratorcation.
The sniper dinosaurs are gonna come through the windows and everything.
There's some Home Alone elements in there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so do you ready to get us started with scene one?
Yeah.
Tim?
Yeah. So.
Hell yeah.
So the episode opens. We're in the Sinclair household. And Robbie and Charlene are putting together the refrigerator day decorations in the kitchen. And everyone's just kind of interacting, and they're all excited for refrigerator day. And I love this. The first thing I besides the idea, the concept of refrigerator day, which I think is hilarious, when she's like, Earl comes in, he's like, "What are you making, Freya's?" Like, "Oh, making my mold pie."
This is a gross, like, this has not been something that's happened in the show before. They've not just eaten mold, so I don't know where it came from. But she's like, "You better not touch this. I've been collecting this refrigerator mold all year."
I didn't even realize, like, I heard that, but my brain was like, it's too gross, Shockey, you're eating, don't process it till later.
I've never had mold in my refrigerator to begin with. I don't know how to collect it. That's like a next level.
I've had some roommates that have definitely collected mold in the refrigerator, so they would have.
I would say I did have like living creatures growing in a sink at a place where I had roommates before. So I do like. Now that I live alone, I don't have to worry about it as much.
I assume there was like a test audience with a bunch of kids, and they were like, "Do you think it would be gross if they ate like old moldy pies?" And all the kids were like, "Yeah!"
Old moldy pies.
Because it's like they could have went the Ninja Turtles. They could have went the Ninja Turtles route and been like, "Yeah, man, dinosaurs just loved like lasagna or mustacholi or something like that." They could have had like a fun like dinosaurs love filet of fish sandwiches from McDonald's. I don't have to tell you, it's all
dinosaurs eat mold out of the refrigerator, kids. Like what?
You know, to do this, they're like, we'll sell fake mold pies for kids.
Well, it'll be made out of like whipped cream, but it's green, like the Heinz ketchup we almost thought of, but we'll release in a few more years.
No.
God,
I had an ex whose stepmom was like the head of sales at Heinz, and she talks about how big of a failure the colorful ketchup was.
Sarah loves Heinz so much.
So my grandma worked at Heinz in like the 30s, and
oh wow,
I made a joke.
So have you been to the
mascot
museum?
for Heinz named Chuppy? That's like a sentient blob of ketchup, and there's a whole Chuppy verse. I spent years on this thing. I could get so deep into this, my own view of Skewniverse. But I got a packet in front of Heinz, and I never heard anything. And I really want them to use Chuppy still. And like my door's always open, and I keep almost getting there. Like I found out my friend runs the social media or ran the social media for Heinz, and it was like, wait, what? Like how am I always this close and this far away from Chuppy getting out to the world?
Yeah, for this podcast we're angling to become the writers for the Dinosaurs reboot. So
okay, yeah, I'm available.
I feel like it's probably a good thing that we will get a Dinosaurs reboot a little bit after Trump's administration, because I didn't want that to like taint it, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, President whatever is just at it again, and it's just like, okay, that's clearly Trump. Okay, like I want my dinosaurs pure and free from, you know, the outside world as much as possible.
There is like a compilation video of Earl's boss saying the exact like quotes that Trump has said, like matched with quotes from Earl's boss. Like,
yeah, I would imagine
it's a 1-to-1 perfect like compilation.
I mean, they do nail business pretty well in this. I think one feature,
Trump watched it.
Yeah, I think one feature for especially like people watching now any type of animation show is you should have an option on whatever you're watching. You hit a button, and in the corner it shows you a photo of the voice actor. I just need to know sometimes. Okay, who this is? Okay. All right, this person is, it's cool for them to play this character. Okay, let's move on. God, Sarah and I are watching old Futuramas a lot, and when somebody comes on, we look at each other like, that better be an Indian guy. Yep. Uh-oh. But hey, with dinosaurs, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. So,
I think essentially, what's the actress's name who plays all the Asian characters, etc.? Scarlett Johansson. They're all Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. I'm an Asian dinosaur.
From Mad TV.
Oh, the lady from Mad TV did Miss Swan,
oh, no.
was it? Yeah.
No, yeah. Miss Swan.
Lois Griffin? Yeah.
Lois.
It was Lois from the cartoon that did it. She didn't know.
There were multiple people that I listened to that I was like, I think I know that voice. And then we were so impressed that it was the mom from Arrested Development.
Yeah,
and then
I don't know her name. I just know Lucille Bluth.
Yeah, and then we figured out a cameo, and we'll see if the experts here have
two
call
cameos.
It out. 2 cameos.
Yeah.
Two cameos.
Yeah, we'll see if the experts call it out.
All right, we'll see. Okay, cool. We got our crack team of experts over
here.
So in this scene, Ethel's explaining Refrigerator Day to the baby. Which is celebrating the most important invention for civilization, which was the refrigerator. And the baby thinks it's diapers. And the grandma makes a comment about how that was important, especially in the summer. And I really can't suss that one out.
Okay.
Like,
I was thinking about that too. Was the grandma saying like old people shit their pants more in the summer? Or was it like sexual? Like grandma got so wet in the summer.
She is very
for real.
For
real. It had like a bit of a sexual tinge to it, where I was like,
I'm gonna have to refer to Ben Shapiro's wife on this one because I'm not sure about
It's a summer's
how
Eve
wet dinosaurs
joke,
get.
like a douching joke.
I used to get so wet in the summers down at the tar pits.
She always Ethel.
That would be great following the comment about moldy pies, but I don't think that's where it was going.
Talk about a moldy pie over here. I haven't been with another dinosaur in decades.
Stop it!
So Ethel,
my libido is extinct.
Ethel, the things we know about Ethel are that she's the oldest living dinosaur ever, and she loves to fuck. Like she makes jokes about it all the time.
She was the horny, like I remember as a kid, whether it was like Golden Girl, Blanche on the Golden Girls, or Mrs. Roper, where I was just like, someone needs to fuck these ladies. Like, these ladies are begging for it. I'm a kid. I can't do it. I will when I'm an adult. I'll fuck them all when I'm an adult. But I can't right now. I'm in Indiana, and I'm a kid. So somebody on these shows fuck these ladies.
Please.
Also,
Please, someone fuck my wife.
I love what that part when she's like explaining refrigerator data baby and baby's just like, oh, was I listening?
Yeah. That's me, honestly.
Yeah.
But I guess
Baby's a bit of a turd.
she literally does bring up
Baby.
like swollen ankles, constant chafing, because they used to have to like go hunt their food every time they're hungry, and now they have a refrigerator, and that
Dad
changed
goes,
the game.
you don't even have to put pants on to get food in the middle of the night anymore.
Yeah, he said he used to have to run around in their
go for your
jammies.
midnight
So
snack.
pre-civilization, they still wore jammies at night. I love that concept.
Sure.
They didn't have a house yet or a refrigerator, but they had to put on their jammies to go chase.
They had
Yeah.
pants.
God forbid you get caught out in the forest trying to hunt without pants as a dinosaur.
Did they have,
You'll get canceled.
None of them have pants on.
You get canceled.
Is there a mythology about them eating from the, salamander of knowledge and then realizing they were naked, or what's the Bible here?
We're working on the Bible. We're gonna do an episode soon where we kind of try to figure out the world that they were trying to create around these characters.
The
Because we don't think
Diplodogma.
they put a lot of effort into it.
They are setting up parameters where it's like, okay, they have a department store, so they must have a grocery. Like,
Yeah, they have several grocery stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have the Swamp Basket. They have the food chain.
We're a
Cage
swamp
Mart.
basket family over here.
Cage Mart.
Yeah. We're a
And,
swamp family.
We also so like Ethel is the oldest dinosaur because
Yeah, they kill the rest of them at age 72.
Yeah, they get-
like in Midsummer.
they get thrown off a cliff and
Dark.
Literally, that
little
happens
dark.
in the movie Midsummer, which is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like, was that a reference to dinosaurs? It's the same age and everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
and
It's really weird.
Grandma and Dinosaurs, known to be the inspiration for that old lady in Monsters, Inc., Mike Wazowski.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
It looks like an homage to her. Like, when I see both of them, I'm like, because I
That's
keep
for
seeing
sure.
her in memes, I'm like, this woman will always be part of our society.
yeah.
I had a math teacher who looked and sounded like that woman. And
That
every time
woman's
she would leave the
everywhere.
room, we would just all be like, Mike Wazowski.
I
Every
feel
time.
like we've all met that woman at least 3 times.
Yes,
And she's
exactly.
just in society,
See,
and we got to
I
keep
had
that
the-
narrative alive.
I had the opposite. I went to I went to school with a kid named Mike. They had a very similar name, so I always
Mike Birbiglia.
No, it was like Mike
Mike
Wazowski. So I would always call
That's-
him Mike Wazowski.
That was clever. We've talked about if nicknames that kids would give you in school based on media. Like for Tim, South Park was big at the time, so everyone called him Timmy, like that reference from South Park. I didn't have any good ones against me. Like my real last name is Bradley, and people would call me Milton Bradley, and that's not even a joke.
Yeah, it's
It's
Ben.
just a board game company.
I would say to this day, every black guy that I've ever worked with, or most black comics I've ever worked with, have all called me McFly. It's like this universal. For some reason, the black community got together and they're like, "Yo, if a guy's name is Marty, his nickname is McFly." It's happened in
They just walk
school, it
away
happened in
like, "Hey,
jobs,
Chuck,
and it
that's your
happened in
cousin."
comedy. It's like it's
You're
just.
old enough now to know it's not a coincidence.
This is not a coincidence. This was covered in some sort of meeting or something, and it's just like if you work with
It's
somebody
Marty
named
called
Marty
McFly.
and you don't call them McFly, you're gonna get fired.
Oh no.
Baby gets everyone after Ethel starts explaining it to him, everyone in the household kind of starts talking about it, and of course they bring up the fact that they get presents every year, so Baby loves presents, of course, and
Not as much as Charlene.
yeah, not as much as Charlene.
Yeah, that's true.
And
She's vapid.
and Earl is really excited because it's Fridge Day soon, and he'll be getting his Fridge Day bonus, which is very important considering how much he gets paid in the first place.
Yeah, he gets $3.50 an hour, I think, to push over Redwoods.
Yeah.
$3?
That's it. Yeah, and his job is that's what the minimum wage was in 1991 was $3.50, which is what he got paid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is why we researched this, and but it's definitely not an entry level position. He has to push over the biggest trees in the world.
Yeah,
The concern
that's
is
true.
if they don't push them over, we'll have too much oxygen and we'll get real giddy.
Yeah.
So they try to get rid
You
of them.
know, I'm not convinced that that's a good
Yeah.
argument.
Well, you also probably think the world's round, so this is
You can't even reason with me.
Yeah.
I had a question about this. I think that companies stopped doing bonuses in like 2008 unless you're a very high up executive, which in 2008 you started getting everyone's bonus that went away. Because I used to work at companies that gave out bonuses, and it's gone away somehow.
The job I had, I live in New Orleans now. I moved here like a year and a half ago, but before I lived in Cincinnati before that, and I worked in an aerospace company as like an office worker. And we got a $50 bill like with our Christmas like paycheck like as a bonus every year.
Yeah.
And then I think like the last year I worked there, we got $100 bill like because we did really well that year. But
Thanks
now
to
I'm
do
pretty sure the
that.
company's tanking.
Yeah. I think after like the last good recession, everybody was just like, yeah,
We don't do it anymore.
Oh, and gold watches. We don't. That's all old stuff. We don't do that.
Gold watches, yeah.
They
You
use
can pick out a suitcase at 25 years.
You get a toaster when you open a bank account? No, not anymore. Come on.
I know, I miss that stuff.
You don't get a gun when you open one anymore, like in the Michael Moore documentary.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Fucking liberals taking our bank guns
Is
away.
there a Michael Moore dinosaur character who puts out documentaries exposing wrongs in that
God.
world?
In our reboot,
In the
there will be.
reboot,
I mean,
Honestly,
There will be.
Nowadays, it would be better if we did like an Alex Jones, like a down and out.
I mean, you gotta
Alex
have
Bones.
a news. You gotta have a 24-hour dinosaur news channel.
Alex Bones.
Alex Bones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
DNN. We have DNN
Oh,
with,
man.
with
DNN.
Yeah.
Howard Handupme is the host.
yeah, that is their thing. They have DTV as well, which is
Okay.
ridiculous.
MTV.
I want a DTV T-shirt. The logo looks amazing.
So everyone's all excited for presents and stuff, and Fran's basically like, well, no, we all know the holiday is all about giving thanks for the things we have or we don't have, and we fast. And Earl's very upset because he's just like, I don't know why I have to pay for the problems of my. I don't know why.
Yeah, baby.
I'm sorry.
That's
Go
so
on.
good. Stay in the right spot, Ben. There you go.
There you go.
Now, Ben, you know you have a buddy who knows a lot about dinosaurs, right?
Yeah,
I had a buddy of
that's
mine
crazy.
who.
That's crazy, man. You ever eat moldy pie?
Now, Ben, how long do you trip off those moldy pies?
Oh, well, I went down to a rainforest in South America with a couple of my buddies.
Okay.
They told me first order of business. They told me David Arquette's a pussy.
God damn it.
I just saw him on that documentary last night, and it was so sad watching David Arquette watch Joe Rogan of all people talk shit about him.
Oh.
If only he knows how little anyone cares about that guy. Well, wait, way too many people care about that guy's opinion, honestly.
But the right people know that David Arquette's a gem on this earth.
Exactly. I agree. I thought it was great.
All right, I'm going to pitch this. Jacked up dinosaur who's like the Joe Rogan of that world.
Okay.
Luchasaurus.
There you go.
He's smart enough.
Yeah, and they're all just like, there's certain trees you can eat where you'll trip, man, and it'll open your mind up. It'll open your mind up.
They call it a
Yeah.
mighty oak for a reason.
So
I wonder what Fear Factor would be like in the dinosaur universe.
they already have it every day. They live in fear of
Every day is
everything.
Fear Factor.
Aliens.
We do see Earl eat some bugs sometimes, so that does make sense.
Yeah.
But sorry, Tim, for interrupting you with something that is not hitting audio at all.
I know, no one knows what we're doing. So Earl, he doesn't understand why he has to pay for the stuff, like the hardships that his dead relatives went through, and he's just really upset that he has to fast. Really, honestly, that's it.
Yeah, and then his food tells him that he wouldn't hurt him not to eat for a couple days. Just fucked up.
Yeah, he gets fat shamed by his own food.
By his own food. That's a bias. That's
And
a bias
his
if
food
I've
also
ever heard one.
seems like ready to go into death either way, but also like not without a quick
Big
whip.
theme.
This is the kind of sitcom that really triggers comedians like Nick DiPaolo, who are just like, you got the whole family disrespecting the dinosaur father. He goes out and breaks his fucking ass for $3.50 an hour. What's this wife doing while he's doing knocking the biggest trees in the world over, saving the world from getting all happy in their heads?
He better get
What's
the
she
big
doing?
brontosaurus leg on the dinner
Yeah,
plate.
she's eating dinosaur bonbons and getting her dinosaur fingernails painted.
Buy
I don't
diapers
understand all
for her
these
wet
female
mother.
dinosaur comedians.
Yeah. So Earl, we cut to Earl at work, and he's at work, and Roy is eating. It's like lunchtime, and Roy's like, "Why aren't you eating?" He's just like, "Oh, I gotta fast," and Roy's just like, "Oh, okay. Well, I just fast in between meals." And Earl's like, "Oh, reformed. Okay, I get it."
I repeated
Very
that
good.
joke. I was really into that joke.
That might have been one of the first ones that really got us.
That's like a straight up, like, the whole fasting between meals is a straight up, like, Kathy comic, in my opinion.
So if we had to associate, and Sarah, you're very religious, or you were raised religious.
Very religious.
Sarah was raised
just,
religious, and I don't
everything.
know if anyone else can help this, but like, so what denomination? I assume of Christians or Catholics would be the fasters, the refrigerator day fasters. Like, what would you say?
It sounds more like a Muslim thing, though.
Yeah, I don't think
mean,
Christians fast for anything.
Because the other
we
guy,
give up stuff for
because the other guy
Lent.
at work's just like, I fast in between meals, haha. And
in
like,
my opinion, Catholics would be closest because, like, I grew up going to a Catholic church, and we just got to eat, like, Jesus' skin.
Yeah.
Hopefully the ass. It was hopefully eating ass and then drinking his blood. But at every other church I'd go to with friends when I got older, they fed you full meals and shit. Like,
at first I was thinking this was like a Catholic thing, but I think you're right. I think this is like Jewish or Muslim.
Mm-hmm. I think they're just trying to conflate several holidays to make it more like it's just Nick DiPaolo. It's this PC culture shit.
Yeah.
Can't even tell you colleges anymore.
Let me tell you something, Snowflake. Even though I'm very triggered by this show, Snowflake.
I think my reboot's gonna have Andrew Dice Pray in it. I think that would be a good one.
Andrew Dice Eat, Pray, Love.
Yeah. Also, there are tones in this conversation where Earl kind of almost accuses sort of Roy of like thinking about Fran like in a sexual way.
I do enjoy that Roy says he doesn't want to get like on Fran's wrong side because it's injurious to the friendship, but really it's because she'll bite his head off. He's accepting of that. He knows his place in that situation.
That had weird, that definitely had a weird sexual tone to it that I didn't quite understand. And again, my brain, like the moldy pie, just quickly dismissed it until I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like, that was weird.
Yeah. So, but while they're talking to each other, Mr. Richfield yells for Earl to come in his office. Everyone, like all his coworkers, run and hide like usual, and Earl goes in. But it's not the usual interaction between Earl and his boss. It's very loving. He's very nice and kind. He gives him a hot.
Likes the word toddy.
Yeah, he gives him a hot toddy.
And this is where the Christmas Carol references really kick into high gear. And I feel like the writers realized in this scene that you could reference a Christmas Carol and then just didn't stop for the rest of the episode, but it starts right now.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, I got."
If my boss gives me a hot toddy, I better get 3 bonuses. What's a hot toddy again?
Tea and whiskey?
I know
or
there
maybe
was
with them it's like an egg of prehistoric times and some spit.
Yeah, we've
fart.
established
and some hot tar from the tar pits.
We have established that alcohol is the thing in this universe, and they do it with a great commercial. It's in a different episode. But,
oh yeah, it's about how if you're being treated like shit at work or whatever, just have a drink. It's like, don't think. Nobody likes a thinker, just be a drinker.
Sounds good.
So
Tim's straight edge, so he's free from this.
And so Earl, this you know what this reminded me of, Ben? It kind of reminded me of the career opportunities episode when Earl goes in and he acts like he's defending himself.
Oh yeah, he pretends he like role plays his boss so everyone outside thinks he's talking to his boss.
Yeah, and or
that part.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, you look really handsome, and he's like, tell this is like
he almost fake makes out with his boss in that episode.
Yeah, so I think this is Earl's fantasy is he just wants his boss to love him. I think this is because
but yeah, so this does become a dream sequence we find out, but I thought it was leading up to like the 3 bonuses that he holds up. We're going to be thrown into the fire. I thought he was building
I
up
thought
to
he
like,
was gonna wind him up too and be like, these are for this guy, and this. Better luck next year.
I thought it was gonna be like
exactly.
a game. I thought it was gonna be a game where he could pick one, and like one would be a really great one would be okay, and one would be like nothing or something.
You're fired.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just
you lose your job. Yeah. So Earl kind of like he like wakes up from his little fantasy there, and he goes in, and he's really optimistic going in, and Richfield's just like, I want you to do something for me, and he just hands him some pencils to sharpen for him.
Yeah.
And he even is like, oh, thank you for the gift. And he's like, no, then sharpen them away from me, you ugly ass.
Yeah.
Making me sad.
I don't want to see you sharpening them. The thought of watching you sharpen pencils is disgusting to me.
And he says he can't give him a bonus because he's expecting it, so that's just pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So Earl's just like,
that
okay,
felt
well then I'm not
very
expecting
nowadays.
I feel like a lot of asshole rich people have said that, and they're like, that checks out with me. And if they're expecting
I
it,
think
then
it's
it's not a
literally a Mitch
bonus.
McConnell moment.
Yeah.
Give us our money.
Yeah. So Earl finds out he's not getting his bonus. He is dejected, and then we cut to the house, and Robbie and Charlene are watching TV, and we get the first fantastic song of this episode for the ad for paint, where the puppets sing, we wish you
a Merry Fridge Day.
We wish you a Merry Fridge Day. Now go buy some paint.
It's great.
I feel like advertising really took it on the nose on this episode. Advertising took a beating in this episode. It was very fun.
Yeah. I always loved like these big companies though, like ABC making this show.
Yes.
It's like, hey, look, the whole joke is like consumerism is bad. Now consume.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really sell to me.
It felt like ABC was like, we're cool guys. We can take a joke. But like we will have to cut out that hanging yourself in the garage stuff.
Yeah,
for later.
that's going to be not on Disney Plus, guys.
Again, shock that aired. And I'm assuming, what season is this?
2.
So this is
Two.
TGIF.
Yeah, this is TGIF.
Wild.
Prime time.
Just wild.
Thank God I freaking thought about hanging myself because of a dinosaur.
I didn't know that was an option. I can go hang
He
myself.
said it so casually, like it was a sudden and
Yeah.
great escape. Not a good advertisement, gang.
Yeah, so we get that ad, and then it goes into another ad for We Say So, and
The best. This is
they're
the best.
Yeah,
It is. I'm just gonna read it word for word because
go for it.
please do.
I'm definitely gonna end up recording my own version of this.
Sarah
for
made the
fake-
good point.
We
This
do
is-
fake
this
ads
could
during
just
the
be-
podcast often.
Sarah said this could just be Amazon's new motto.
Yeah.
We believe that when a dinosaur knows what's best for his family, other dinosaurs shouldn't interfere. And we believe that when a company knows what's best for its community, that community shouldn't interfere with wasteful and demeaning regulations. Something to think about as we celebrate freedom on this refrigerator day. From your friends at the We Say So Corporation. We say so. We'll do what's right if you leave us alone.
I mean,
Literally some Bezos shit.
dude.
Because I love you. Take it from me.
Yeah.
I love you.
Pat. Yeah. It is such a like
Globochem.
Globochem. Yeah.
By and large from Wall-E. Like, I love those big, and it's like, we keep edging closer to it. They're just giving good examples for the way things will be.
Now, Disney might also think in this scenario, like, yeah, we're not those guys. We're
Yeah,
Disney, baby. We make movies and rides for you to have fun on. We're
we
not
got
bad.
Bob's like in the office space.
Yeah.
It's so wild. Like Disney literally just owns everything now. It's this huge thing. Like I don't know where it stops. It's so like you keep seeing these giant lawsuits against like Facebook for being a monopoly, but they're just like they're able to get away with it because the government is big business now, so it really doesn't matter, I guess.
Hey, as long as they're doing a good job, it's none of my business.
It's like targeting Fazoli's when you have a problem with Red Lobster.
I get to decide what's best for my family. Not
Yeah.
Leave us alone. Hey, you dads hate being told what to do. Well, don't tell us what to do the same way. Just go in the garage. It'll be fine.
Corporations are people.
I just feel like if Trump would have said that like in 2016 on the campaign trail, like, and if a business does a good job, who are we to ask them questions? People would be like, yeah, that sounds good to me. Oh, who are we to fucking get in the way? I don't know shit about the environment.
Make America generate profits again.
Coal, baby, coal.
Hey, burn, baby, burn.
Coal,
I won't
baby.
ask no questions.
Yeah, so we get Earl comes into the room after the commercial, and he kind of has to like get everyone together. But I love it when Baby's just like, I drew the fridge.
That's great.
Yeah, Baby's like an artist. Like, that's pretty advanced for a human that age. I don't know if dinosaurs have more dexterity in their fingers and artistic vision at that age, but I was impressed with Baby here.
He came out.
Then he drew
egg.
on the fridge, drew
Yeah.
on the wall
Yeah.
and the floor.
He came out the egg just talking and like he knew everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know so many babies like that.
Yes, he came out with like a season 3 baby. He's operating at a season 3
Here's
baby
my
level.
theory, is that if past lives are real within the dinosaur world, Baby is Earl's like great grandfather who's like, I gotta get this family back in line, but now is a little bit like, or I could just rest on my laurels and be taken care of for a few years before I fix everything.
He has to do it though, but
Exactly.
with violence.
In other episodes, do
Yeah,
they give
he's
the son and
very
daughter kind of like their own unique personalities and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
The daughter is like a consumerist. She's like obsessed with fashion in the mall.
Okay.
They're very pigeonholed by their parents throughout the whole thing too. Like
Okay.
the way they talk to him is very like, the mom will talk to Charlene specifically like, oh, I ran into this woman at the mall. She saw us on the game show and said you looked lovely and that you could pull off that dress. And then she talks to Robbie like, oh, you're doing, like, your teacher said you're doing so much better in school. Like, he's pigeonholed to be like,
He's a
like,
jock, right?
he looks like a jock, but it doesn't come up. It's really, he's more of a nerd and like
Because
a
doesn't he wear a
feminist.
Letterman's jacket?
Yeah, he does. But
Yeah.
he's,
But maybe he's in marching
he's in
band.
marching
I mean,
band.
Yeah.
everyone I know who actually wore their Letterman jacket, they were the marching band.
Yeah, mine they were either
Like,
wrestling or band. Yeah.
Okay, but who are the dinosaurs inventing instruments for them to play in high schools? Like, how far along are we in society?
I don't know.
Dinosaurs had horns. We can be clear about that.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, he like I don't know if it's ever discussed if he's on a team. They have, what's their team called? At
Well, he
school
does.
again?
The steroid episode was for sports.
Was it okay?
Yeah, he takes steroids
was
for
it
sports.
was it wrestling specifically or something?
I
else?
think
I
it
want to
was
say
wrestling.
like wrestling or football.
Wrestling
he might
would
have been
make sense.
jacked. I
They
remember him
have a
being very
football team.
jacked. He might have been in a singlet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kumail Nanjiani
I mean,
jacked.
I hope so.
It is one of those things too. When I watch the show and I watch the like behind the scenes thing, and you think about like what a pain in the ass it was to shoot all of this stuff. So it's like to me it
Yeah.
was such a brilliant thing to do the dream sequence with the boss, and then you're gonna do the real sequence with the boss. So it's like okay,
Mhm.
that takes care of itself. Like it was very interesting.
Yeah. It was the most expensive show on TGIF the film.
Crazy
Like,
expensive.
clearly, like I mean, like they didn't even start him with a pilot run because the pilot was going to cost like $4 million. So they're like, we'll just assume you'll do
Wow.
okay. Yeah, they're like, we'll assume you'll do, and that's in 1991 dollars. You'd have to push over so many trees, like it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So Earl gathers everyone around and he explains that he's not getting his bonus and he's broke and he's gonna have to sell the presents back and stuff. And this is where we get the kind of dichotomy between Charlene and Robbie, where Charlene's like, okay, but you bought the presents, right? So we still get them. Like, where's the problem?
That's our concern. He doesn't bring up the selling back yet because refunds don't exist yet.
Yeah.
No.
That's
Yeah,
not
I
like
was
a
just
concept.
about to question that.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are we to assume that their appliances are from like a Remco type of store where
Like,
they
yeah,
rent
like, do they
their,
have, like,
they
a
rent their
UHR thing? Like,
appliances?
It is weird that they get their appliances repoed.
Yeah.
I mean, refrigerators are expensive. If you're not getting them used, maybe
But
like renting
returns
is the
aren't a
best
thing,
option.
but repossessions are.
Yeah,
That's just
Yeah,
mark
exactly.
that down in the
Yeah.
wiki.
Very
Yeah.
interesting in that world
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, I can't afford a full refrigerator, and they're like, well, I guess we can rent it to you, and if you don't pay, we'll come get it back.
Like Rent-A-Center?
exactly, 'cause-
Like a Rent-A-Center?
Yeah,
like
Rent-A-Center,
Rent-A-Center.
Remco,
You know,
yeah.
and this is topical because there really was and maybe still is a refrigerator shortage in 2020 to 2021. My parents' refrigerator died and they had like just a heck of a time getting one this year installed. And they had to like settle for the one where you knock on the glass and it shows you your drinks, which they ended up really liking.
Okay. Is that like the Amazon one?
Like, God forbid they miss a payment. That fucker's going right back to the store.
Right back to the store. Unless someone changes their mind later.
What was that tweet going around where the girl was like posting on Twitter from her DS and then she posted it from her refrigerator?
I was gonna bring this up. This girl, like, she got her phone taken away, so she posted from her 3DS, and it says it like posted from 3DS, and then from her Wii U, and then from her Samsung refrigerator.
Yeah. And it was kind of like, crying about money or something, and it's like, you're tweeting this from your Samsung refrigerator. You don't get to complain about anything.
Yeah.
Tweeting from my Samsung refrigerator.
So,
what an integration.
So just as Earl doesn't think the day could get any worse, the repo company comes, I assume, and it's just like, look, you can't.
It's confusing.
You can't wait. Like, you were half a day late, so we're gonna have to take this from you.
Did either of you recognize the Repo Man's voice?
No.
It is okay. So is that the guy from Tim the Toolman Taylor show?
No, I think it's Billy West.
We think it's Billy West doing his Futurama Fry voice,
aka the Honeycomb Cheerios bee.
Well, I gotta take your refrigerator
Billy
back.
West is everyone.
I gotta take your refrigerator back. Sorry.
Hey, that's
sounds like
good.
Roger Klotz.
Yeah.
Because he's in Doug. He's like, he plays like 8 people on Futurama.
Sorry,
like 8 people on Doug.
is he Roger from Doug?
I'm sure he is. He is Doug from
Dude,
Doug.
he was a man about town. He was everybody. He was everybody.
So let me see what all he did in Doug.
Doug is a sore subject on this show.
Yeah, he was Roger. He was Doug Funny and Roger Klotz.
Why is Doug a sore subject on this show?
Because I made a comment that Tim, like, I assumed Tim had never seen Doug, and he's like, I'm offended that you think I've never seen Doug.
we have Doug.
Do you have like the Disney versus Nickelodeon biases?
Well, is this like a WCW, WWF?
Yeah, it's Doug Heat.
We don't have to acknowledge brand spanking new Doug. Jumper.
I had to tell Ben that, like, I grew up with the original Doug on Nickelodeon, so I have no like reference.
I was gatekeeping Doug. I asked him to name 5 of his songs.
Gatekeeper.
Yeah.
I studied under the tutelage of the woman who wrote the Doug Sentient Zip episode, Ann Libra, so I'm a bit of an expert on comedy and plot and narration.
That's tight. Yeah, so...
But no, I did not catch that. I don't even think that was listed, but I wouldn't be surprised because Billy West has been everywhere.
We've been watching Futurama episodes lately.
I'm just showing Marty my favorite.
As soon as he came on, we both looked at each other like, Futurama.
Yeah, maybe he's uncredited?
If so, he's uncredited, but he was active starting in 1988, so it's possible, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
I stand by it.
He was on, like, Ren and Stimpy around this time.
Yeah.
As Stimpy.
Yeah.
What? You're blowing my mind. Every single one.
Yeah.
He was
literally
now.
just everything.
And he was on Howard Stern later.
As Howard Stern.
Jackie Puppet.
There's like a Howard Stern joke in the first episode of Futurama.
Ooh, nice.
There's like a big joke about all people talk about in New York is whether they like Howard Stern or not.
This is, as someone who grew up on Long Island, it's true. It's all true.
That's crazy. I keep forgetting you grew up in Long Island. You seem so normal.
Yeah, it's weird. I didn't join Latterman.
Oh yeah, you also grew up in Florida, so I feel like that's similar. That makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah. Earl, when the Repo Man comes, Earl he's just like, why does it have to be the refrigerator on refrigerator day? He's like, we like to do it when people are under the most pressure. So great.
Which Earl is like, that's brilliant. What a brilliant evil dinosaur your boss must be.
Yeah.
But the Repo guy says he got a fridge day bonus, a huge one.
Yeah, because they've never been more successful.
Yeah, they're doing great.
They're doing great.
He assumes Earl gets one, and Earl didn't, and so he's so upset, And I love it when he wakes up in the morning and he goes to the fridge and there's not one there, and he's just
oh yeah, that dumb dad just going through the motions, sleepwalking through the house, gonna grab some moldy pie.
Yeah. So
I like you skipped the part where he does his own little thing about I'm beneath dirt, I look up the dirt, I wish I was dirt. I was like, this is just like a crust punk anthem. Dirt laughs at me.
dirt looks down on like dirt's
or this is like a tweet from 2020 of like, ugh, I'm such a garbage dumpster
I'm just
fire.
I'm like 8
shit.
in a suit.
Yeah. I thought that was
yeah, so he's like crying about paint. No, it was the scene right before he starts crying about paint.
So he's like, and he's in the kitchen, and Charlene's just like, do you think Dad's a little depressed? And Freya's just like, no, he's just working it out, dear. It's okay.
Yeah. Every day Dad says he's gonna kill himself in the garage.
We're all in this together.
It wouldn't be a day if Dad didn't threaten to murder himself in the garage.
That's just
great
normal.
is that there's another episode from the other side where the mom's depressed because she lost her baby, and another family has baby for the episode, and she's depressed about it, and the kids asked about it, and like he's just like, no, she's just working through some things or whatever, and then like she tries to take a knife to herself during the scene.
Oh jeez!
Like, yes.
Wait, she lost baby,
miscarriage?
the character, or
no, it was baby Sinclair.
Oh, okay.
They
already
to a
alive
different
baby
family.
Sinclair.
Yeah.
Okay, we thought that they were tackling a miscarriage.
We thought you were saying she had a miscarriage.
The closest they do to that is Earl refers to them as
depression.
duds. Earl does refer to a few of their attempted babies as duds.
Yeah.
Oh!
Which is the worst thing that and he says when she's pregnant with that egg, he says, hopefully it's just a dud. Yeah.
Oh my God!
That is dark.
So
dark.
So
we'll throw a TW on this episode.
The episode before this, they go to Lama's class with the eggs, and there's an earthquake, and the eggs get switched. So their baby gets switched with another family's baby. So that's what like the whole episode's about. And the baby that is actually their baby, who looks just like Earl, is very nice and sweet, and then the dad from the other family is like just like baby Sinclair.
Yeah, like Violet and loud.
Now, I questioned during this episode whether baby was biologically belonging to their family.
We're still trying to figure it out.
They're all different dinosaurs.
Wow.
It's a Triceratops, a Dilophosaurus, a Allosaurus, and a Megalosaurus. Like none of them match.
Wow. That's some movie magic.
They can go on a Maury
just like a real sitcom.
They can go on a Maury Povich type of show. And then Dinosaur Maury will be like, you're not the father, but this is going to sound wild. You're not the mother either.
You're not the mama.
Best I can do is Dinosaur Povich.
Yes.
Wow, yeah. This reboot's going to be big.
Do they really have like they don't really do like a Flintstones type of, are they that hardcore with the names like the Flintstones were of like, it's got to be something like stone or rock or whatever?
There are a few. Yeah, there's a few. Yeah. It's not the main thing though.
They're mostly,
a lot of it's oil names.
Yeah, the names of the characters are based off of oil companies.
Which is funnier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes... Because I remember as a little
dinosaur
kid...
fossils.
As a little kid seeing some of those Flintstone names, and sometimes I'd be like, nice job, and other times I'd be like, fuck off. That's not even trying.
When something's on the nose and we're watching it together, if it's on the nose but we like it, we'll do a thumbs up while you're touching your nose, and then if we don't, we'll do touch your nose, thumbs down.
Yeah, Flintstones were either way with their names.
Yeah, like BP Richfield, which is like two.
Yeah, BP.
Yeah, and the Sinclair.
Ethel
company.
is the grandma. Yeah, Sinclair Company, which his logo is a dinosaur, so that all checks out. There's a few, like I feel like Spike is pretty close to one. Like that's his friend Spike.
Totally.
Like, I mean, that's also Dinosaur in Land Before Time.
Yeah.
So I like this scene because Charlene almost gets like a gift of the Magi thing going in her brain, but she can't complete the puzzle. She's like, refrigerator day without presents. That's like two things that go together, but without one of those things, but there isn't the other. And then Robbie's like, all right, don't hurt yourself, kid.
Nice try there.
Yeah. So they basically come up with they like devise a plan where it's just like, well, what if we take the presents, we sell them back, and then we use the money to get the refrigerator back? And it blows everyone's mind because refunds don't exist yet in this
Yes.
And also, did they buy those presents wrapped? Because why then is it appropriate to bring a bunch of wrapped presents that no one can see and try to sell them for a lump sum of exactly what you paid? Like, you don't even seem like you know. Like, there's no logic here.
Yeah. It also would have been a good opportunity, like, to have some funny products that were like puns with dinosaur names. If they
It took me a little while. It took me a little while to understand that there were no refunds. Because they were kind of doing this like
They were coy.
Yeah, they were like, well, we have these things. And they're like, oh yeah, just drop them off over there. They're donations. They're like, no, they're not donations. And then I'm just like, I'm like watching a little high, and I'm like, wait, do they not know? Can you not return things in this world?
Yeah. Also,
I gotta help them.
Yeah, and also during the scene too, they cut to Earl, and he puts 2 ice trays and he just drops them on the ground. And he's talking about how
he says, on a second day, a fridge day my true love gave to me 2 ice cube trays and a plastic insert to hold the eggs. A great song.
Hey, why did they still have those? Like, you shouldn't have taken those out when they repossessed the fridge.
he just grabbed them.
It's like,
grabbed them real quick.
You know, it's like when you return your cable box and they just like throw the remote away. It's like, we don't keep the remotes. We just keep the cable box.
Yeah, so they do argue with Earl about the fact that he wasn't supposed to be eating right now anyway, because this is fasting, and he explains, like, fasting is when you have food in front of you that you're refusing to eat. This is starving. Which he delivers in a very 300 This Is Sparta way. He just shouts, this is starving!
We've all been there.
I mean, I feel
Come
like
on.
300 stole that from him.
Definitely.
But yeah, they head to the mall and they go to Cave Mart, which doesn't exist anymore. And there's like a thing over the intercom about looking for a last minute gift on level 3 for the surprise gift section. And this is when they come up and they introduce the concept to this guy about returning shit. And he's like, nobody's ever brought stuff back.
Do you know who this guy's voice was? He sounded so familiar.
This guy, I believe, is the one that I was bringing up. He's like Tim the Toolman's brother or something.
Okay.
Like, I looked it up, and that's his only real thing is he was on Home Improvement, and his last name's Taylor on that show, so I assume it has to be like a relative. Okay.
But didn't you say he was the Motel 6 guy?
Oh, I thought he was the Motel 6 guy. Oh. But I'm not sure.
Do you
maybe that's why.
Like the leave the light on guy?
We'll leave the light on for you.
We'll leave the light on for you.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
You were so sure when we watched
I'd have to hear it again.
Tom Badette.
Yeah.
Tom Odell? Tom.
Yeah. I don't think it's.
Don't worry about it. I could be very wrong. Don't even worry.
Rachel Badette's dad.
Don't even worry about it. Yes, Rachel Badette's dad.
I don't know.
Tom Badette.
But his voice.
The only thing I know about Tom Badette is there's a lot of reference to him in that McElroy Brothers podcast, The Adventure Zone, which is great.
Take it.
The only thing that like his voice sounded so familiar, and I think at the time when I was watching the episode, I was like, I think I know who this is, but I'm not sure.
He's a recurring voice in the show in general.
Yeah.
From what I
That's the effect of this guy. That's a good voice actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
like,
Alan Tudyk.
Like usually when we see this this suit is on the show, it's usually Jason Alexander or it's someone else who does the voice. Like they alternate.
But this time it's been Jason Alexander like twice, I think, the same costume. They reuse the costumes a lot for like tertiary characters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is probably one of my favorite scenes though. The part where he brings her over to Hank to explain it, and she says something like, "No, we're not trying to like sell them." And he's like, "Oh, so you're changing it? Like, was this all a clever ruse to embarrass me in front of Hank?" I love that dynamic.
Yeah.
I like it
Hank
too.
has this status all of a sudden with us where it's like, oh, I didn't realize Hank was somebody.
Yeah, like I was like, that's such like a little, like, I don't know, that part was really clever to me. I just thought it was like this cute, like, now you have this whole like idea of like, what is this dynamic here? These are characters that have never been in the show, probably will never be there again.
Yeah,
but Hank's like a big shot.
Oh, I would love their spin-off show if we can, make that big element of the reboot.
I don't know. Yeah, they're like, well, what do you mean? Like, are you trying to make a profit? She's like, and then she's like,
yeah, if you're selling stuff, you need to make a profit.
Yeah, she's like, yes, and it's like, okay, well, look at it this way, like, you're the customer and we're the store. It's like he's like, and you don't want to be the store, right?
It's a lot of responsibility.
And they got to make their money. I love how they make that point. They're like, well, we got to get something out of this. And it can't just be the same thing. It's got to be more. We got to get more out of it.
Yeah, like, we already have all this junk here. We don't need more of it.
Yeah.
But at first they seemed like they were accepting it readily as a donation.
Yeah.
And then that, like...
At first they just said, put it over there. They thought it was a donation. And then they went into, okay, we can't just take it back. Because, I mean... You have to unwrap them, too. That's a lot of dinosaur man hours to just unwrap everything.
It's only
Which
Hank
they
and him.
honestly should have
That's the only
done
two people
before
there.
they left.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they should have unwrapped everything and at least said, like, well, here's what you would have gotten.
That would have been too
kids.
sad for Charlene, though. She
Yeah.
wouldn't have been able to handle it. All right, it tracks.
Yeah. Charlene wanted to be a store, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
But
Origin
they
story.
do offer to buy it back less than wholesale, and Robbie's like, that's like nothing. But they go for it, and Robbie says they learned a valuable lesson about markup.
Those are predatory tactics, I would say.
Yeah.
Very.
But they end up getting a cooler when they get home.
Yeah. A
Here's
styrofoam
what
cooler.
I'm curious about. Immediately they change into these custom-made costumes for their home pageant, and I'm like, those wouldn't have fetched a couple of bucks on Fridge Day? Are you kidding me? Like, what's wrong with you guys?
Those are sacred.
Well, that would be heresy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like selling the nativity scene on Christmas Eve. Come on, you gotta give me something for it.
I imagine living in a household where you, like, I think it'd be fun, honestly, to have to reenact a pageant. Because that's not something that happened in my house.
No.
I mean, me and my sister had a video camera. We made fake movies, but that's different.
Yeah, you don't want the parents involved in that. I feel like we never had, like, we would sit around and they would read to us from, sacred texts, the Bible and other fiction that was popular at the time within Christian circles.
The novelization of Caddyshack, whatever it is sacred.
That Left Behind book, that got me real nervous about the apocalypse.
See, my fiance's cousin, like her second cousins, they're like younger. They every time I've been there for Christmas, they do like almost mandatory Christmas play, like not like this,
Really?
but they'll just like they'll kind of write it, and then they'll make props, and they'll just like tell a story that like so. I guess it is kind of a thing, but not in my family.
Yeah, but they're like have lines and like, Dad, you're always involved and you have to say the lines and you have to believe it. And it's like he kind of tricks himself into it later, but it's a slow start for Mr. Sinclair.
Yeah. This is also, so I love the idea also of a styrofoam cooler. Like, why is there styrofoam
full
in this
of White
world?
Claws?
Back then, yeah. Why is there styrofoam back then?
Boy, the White Claws would have been funny.
Oh, man.
Adel's big concern was that there was spaghetti, because there was spaghetti in the episode we watched with Adel, and he's like, there's no way there's Italians.
That's, you know what? And they heard people like Adel said something back then, and that's why we went to the moldy pie route. They were like, yep, spaghetti was too close to the sun. You're right. Mold.
This is writing a letter in.
Yeah, and this is...
God. Back when you had to send in your tweets via Bird.
Yeah.
Was the worst.
And this is the point where Earl comes in and he's just like, well, I'm gonna go hang myself in the garage.
Yep.
That's where we kind of like really like, it's rare that both of us go jaw drop and look at each other. So like props to them for like they got two comedians to be shocked.
Yeah, the delivery I loved, because it was like Fran saying, if you thought about my way, you'd feel blessed, and him, if you thought about my way, you'd go to the garage and hang yourself.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a just like blunt, just real blunt honesty, and I respected it and feared it at the same time.
Yeah.
And he also like says he doesn't want to sound immature about not wanting to do the pageant, but he shouts like, I don't wanna. He's a baby.
And he's also just like, oh, what an emotional roller coaster. And I love when he goes over to Baby and hands him the pan, and he's like, all right, go ahead. Yeah. And the baby's just
Come on, hit me.
He's like, that's getting old.
That baby's such a shithead. I love it.
That's when you hear like a Cats in the Cradle with a Silver Spoon song in the background. He's missing time with his son. He won't hit him anymore. They've got a reverse Homer Bart dynamic. Like Instead of him choking the baby, it's the baby hitting him.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit better, at least.
A little more relatable, I feel like, in these troubled times. Just let the baby win.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Ethel makes up for it though, because she hits him and tells him she'll always be there for him.
Yeah. So now we do switch to them acting out the pageant of Fridge Day, and the delivery of lines is very high school play. It's great. Robbie really kills it. He sounds like he's in the labyrinth. That high school play delivery is perfect.
Arc. Yeah, and then Ethel's narrating too, and she's talking about how it was back in the day, nothing was important but finding food, and Fran gives her big spiel about seek out new meats and new vegetables. And, it's great. I love it.
Yeah. And then Earl comes in for his part where he keeps hearing a voice that says "build a box that is cold inside." Is this a "build it and they will come" thing?
I think so.
I felt that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard thinking back to references because I'm just was that out yet? Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Was it out yet? Did
That's
it
why I
happen
keep
yet?
doing him.
But it's
especially
if that
I was
movie came
1
out
years old
anytime,
when this episode came out.
Yeah, I think it would have. I think that was end of the 80,
89.
Yeah, okay. So it's fresh.
Yeah. So it's still
fresh
reference.
reference.
It's a good quip for
TV,
for Earl to throw in.
Yeah, and I like how Ethel had to kind of swallow her pride and be a great and wise dinosaur when referring to Earl, because
which she would never do.
She hates.
Not earnestly.
She hates him.
I do like that when he says we have to stop and build a box. Charlene's line is, "Why must my father ship something?" So they have the concept of shipping things already.
Yep.
Shipping, styrofoam. I just feel that the dinosaurs have a deep sense of imbalance, and you know what? They're heading for disaster. We all know it.
Yeah, and so he makes the box, and it's oh, it is a hearty and just box.
Yes, father, it's a fine box.
This felt very Waiting for Guffman lines to me, which is how you know it's good bad theater.
Yeah. And he's how do we make it cold? And they're we've got to toss it in the lake.
Yep.
And the greatest invention of our time was about to be thrown into a lake. But then Charlene finds the plug that's conveniently attached to it. What is this pronged thing?
Yeah, okay, so
this is that imbalance.
Yeah, so
skip electricity.
Yeah.
Let's just plug it in.
Yeah, so they're wandering around looking for food, but they have electricity. So why?
Just nothing. Well, I mean, to be fair, electricity did come out before refrigerators.
Yeah.
But not before cold storage in general.
And ice was invented by the planet, so let's, we could have probably put it in a box a while ago, but, you do you, electricity.
Could these be highly evolved dinosaurs living in this world, not known to them that they're actually in a combo Jurassic Park Truman Show type of world?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wee!
There's cavemen in this world, and they're probably just aliens, honestly.
Yeah. Or extras.
Heavily prosthetic extras.
Extras hired to move the storylines across.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny because wild animals and stuff live amongst them, but so do humans. But they basically treat the humans like wild animals, like pets and stuff like that.
I mean, that's what we do to every other animal. There's a lot of proof that dolphins are very smart, and they're probably I don't know what those things deal is, but let's not engage.
If this show wanted to be really dark, the family would have had a little 5-year-old blonde boy as their dog, and they just treat him terrible.
They have a pet human for one episode.
Yeah.
They just leave him outside. We're not gonna let the human inside. Ugh,
it was little baby Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, it's just the little boy from Big Daddy or something like that. And they're just mean. They're just meanish. The baby just tortures them.
Quit shitting in the corner. It's oh my god, that's too much perspective.
Yeah. And his name is Kyle. He's just Kyle.
Yeah. They dissect humans in their science class, and Robbie frees one and takes him home.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
That's how you know your
Brilliant.
first step of becoming a dinosaur serial killer is you mutilated humans
Yeah.
for fun.
Yeah, if you did that as a kid and you
If
also
you
wet your
mutilated a
bed.
human in the park while smoking a cigarette, you're gonna do some bad
frontal
things.
cranium damage from a rock.
He brings it home and he treats it as a pet, and it's like clearly a woman. It's like a human woman, but they call it like Sparky and keep referring it to it as like him, and like
It was straight up kink adjacent. Like, I swear to God.
Wow. Shaken to my core at this.
It would bring Earl his slippers and like they'd play fetch with her. It was too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Earl gets really into the pageant now, and like they're doing the whole God bless us. They have God in this world and hell.
Sure.
It's confusing. They also have
Why not?
Godzilla.
But no Jesus. Jesus is not yet.
Jesus.
No.
Jesus
No
is for
Jesus.
later.
Yeah.
We're gonna try again with humans. The dinosaurs clearly not
friends.
doing it for God.
Godzilla is a celebrity
But,
in the show. He's not a god.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Godzilla. I would have thought Godzilla would have been who I would have gone with for God in the lore, but they just
Great
he's just an
point.
actor in the show,
Yeah.
which
Just
is a
Tom
reference
Cruise.
to like the early Godzilla movies being a man in a suit, so it makes sense that he'd be an actor.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Earl loves the pageant now and is like, who needs presents? Who needs anything? Like, I'm the luckiest guy in town. This is my own miracle.
And they really framed It's a Wonderful Life here. They had him standing kind of the same way. I felt the
Yeah.
vibes. It wasn't just a Christmas Carol they started referencing. They're just like grabbing whatever they can.
Yeah, I guess the show is already supposed to be like a satire of sitcoms, so it seems like they were just doing the whole thing like, since it's not actual humans, they have to parody every holiday or every holiday movie. Not too directly. Nothing was over the top on the nose, at least, which made it like exist in its
liked
own
it.
universe.
Yep.
See, now I'm wondering if in Christmas Vacation there was a scene where Clark was in the garage about to hang himself, and then Russ was like, "Dad, come in here. It's a Christmas miracle." And he takes the noose off, and he's like, "What?" I mean, did we miss that?
But then he trips and he almost hangs himself anyway.
Did we miss that? Is that a deleted scene?
Jeez.
Yeah.
They come in and he's holding on to the noose, swinging like,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to. Oh, it's so dark. I'm so sorry. It's fun, though.
And just when we think that Earl actually learned something, the men Hank and the other man from the department store come in and they're like, "Hey, we got your refrigerator back."
But
For
why?
no
Why did they
reason.
work with the repo guys? Like,
Oh,
did
it's all one giant conglomerate that owns
Amazon.
everything. Don't ask questions; it just works.
Yeah.
I was
If
so
you wouldn't
confused
ask
when it
me
wasn't the
questions
same
about
guy.
your personal life.
Yeah, stop
don't ask
asking questions. Let us do our job.
Yeah. So they come in and they got the refrigerator and then they get presents too. And
Okay, but this guy's line when he's coming in and Earl's like, "Do my eyes deceive me?" He's like, "If you're seeing something other than a trim figure of a guy pushing your fridge,"
Yeah.
I like his
Beautiful
little
line.
hyping himself up.
It was like, I love these like clever side characters. I feel like too many places make every side character a little dumber than the main characters. Not dinosaurs. They'll give them
No, but
they'll
it's
give
the
them the
opposite.
juicy lines.
he basically says that his boss loved the idea of refunds and return policy. So
So he squashed the competition.
yeah,
Become a conglomerate.
and create a monopoly. Yeah.
Yeah.
To serve you better, he throws in.
Yeah, and
It's like all so sinister.
This is all the start of Amazon.
Yeah.
yeah, and so they basically have him sign a release so that to say that they came up with the idea for a return policy.
Just
Yeah.
like ensuring them millennium or 3 years exactly of profits.
I mean, I grew up with a kid whose family. I grew up with a kid whose family was rich because they actually invented layaway, and the dad got the idea. You know what I mean? So
That's
like,
crazy.
You know, no, I'm joking.
My dad invented
You
social
said it
strudels.
so serious.
I'm joking.
You cannot blame
I-
us for believing
I
you
was
heart and
thinking
soul.
of I couldn't go with the return policy. That would be too obvious. We were talking about. So I tried to think of
friend already did
another
that layaway.
retail store type of thing.
My great
Yeah, I grew
uncle
up with
actually
a kid
invented
who
late
invented
fees.
like layups. It was Michael Jordan.
Yeah. I like what Sarah
Albert
said.
Einstein was there, and everyone's clapping.
Sarah's ancestors invented late fees at Blockbuster Video.
They used to say, we have no power over you. What do we do? Just yell at them? No. Late fees. And the banks caught on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they get the refrigerator back. They also give Earl his bonus, which doesn't make any sense. I don't know why.
Yeah.
they paid him.
Don't ask questions.
They did this the last episode we watched. They also, the wrap up at the end was so annoyingly convenient that it bothered me. Like, they do this a lot in the show where every little plot device that's still on the line, they're just like, we already spent $3 million making this fucking thing, just end it, just like bring it all home.
Yeah, I feel like they hit the reset button so hard that it's like, you can have them learn like one lesson about sacrifice. It's not going to kill you. But they were like, and you get this, and you get this, and you get this. So that by next episode, the fridge is there and they have enough money because these money worries can only be a thing when we say it is.
I feel like we would be, if we were all on this writing staff, we would be the nerdy writers talking about like continuity. Like, but in the one episode we never introduced the idea. And there are these like hotshot network types who are just like, no one fucking cares. They just want to see.
How can Greg Brady move to the attic? They said it was 10 inches last episode.
They just want to see the dinosaur's eyes blink. That's all they want.
Just say the line. Say it.
Yeah.
Say the line.
And like years from now, when there's the documentary, we're all like, I mean, we wanted there to be continuity in the world. They fought us on
really
everything.
held it out. We didn't sell out, son. We bought in.
Yeah.
So the kids get ice cream also, and they said they installed snow machines on the roof, and Robbie shouts, like, all right, no school, which like doesn't make sense, like why school would be out just because they have snow.
Yeah.
And it's a snow machine, so that implies that they understand how to create weather, but they don't have return policies.
Yeah.
Again.
It's skiing was more important.
Yeah.
We gotta figure this out. Push some more trees over.
God, I hope there's a ski resort episode with like a skiers versus rich skiers thing. That'd be great.
Pizza.
Have
Right.
either of the teenagers gone through a grunge phase yet? Because
No.
we are coming real close. We're like,
They're not on the nose at all. When they do the DTV, like the dinosaur television reference, they like the band they have play is called Skizzard Lizard, and it sounds like hair metal. I'm like, they're really missing the mark by like a decade on this joke.
that would have been. I'm
What
talking
would you have done?
grunge phase. He starts talking.
Dinosaur
about going
Jr.
out to the
Dinosaur
garage.
Jr. would be on it. For
Dinosaur Jr. But they would just be. But at that time, they would just be Dinosaur. But it would be all the members of Dinosaur Jr. playing the music. He would start
Dinosaur.
wearing a flannel around his waist and like a leather jacket. He just wouldn't care about anything. I don't care about anything. He would just get real apathetic.
Yeah, they're very entrenched. I guess because it's 1991 and hair metal is still kind of around. It's very. Yeah. They mostly
and if you're writing on a network TV show, like you're not going to be a fan of what's like the new up and coming tracks.
I'm telling you, by season 3 or 4, we should have a grunge influence.
Yeah, it's very it's like Ben was saying, it's very hair metal. Like there's like a dream sequence in one of the episodes where he wants to be like a rock star and he just has a British accent because it's just like that's just a thing.
Because I feel like
it was more of a Sex Pistols.
I feel like if we had the Flintstones, Kurt Cobain would have been Kurt Cobalt.
Oh
like
wow!
I don't know what his dinosaur name would be.
Yeah,
Courtney Love is the same because that's a concept that we can all get behind.
But so
Dirt Cobain. I mean, there's plenty.
Courtney Lava, Kurt Cobalt, and Courtney Lava.
Did you ever see that meme where the theory was the Jetsons and the Flintstones exist in the same universe, separated by income class?
Oh wow!
I really like that. That's like one of my favorite theories.
I mean, going back to what Ben was saying about like how these episodes just get all wrapped up or whatever. Again, that only goes to prove my theory that we are in a Truman Show, Jurassic Park, Disney hybrid.
Exactly.
Kind of like how Aladdin was like in this weird dystopian, like non-country memory thing. Go down that rabbit hole sometime. It's a lot of fun.
Isn't like also it's almost like Agrabah is very much almost an anagram for Baghdad. Like,
whoa,
they really just like pulled in some like tropes for that Aladdin shit.
Yeah, there was some questionable.
I wonder if when they started this show, they had to be like, look, guys, don't do any of that cartoon shit where you're hiding dicks in the scenery. Like, we can't. This is Dinosaurs on ABC. We're spending a lot of money. I don't want to watch an episode where, you know, one of the tree branches is a big dick. I just can't. We can't. We gotta, day one, get this out of the way and make an oath we are not going to do that.
And if you hear somebody talking about doing something like that, please report us.
Please let us know. We cannot.
I just like
to HR.
Yeah,
I remember hearing about old like Disney animators would get paid on the side to make like Disney porn.
Yeah,
which is a wild thing. But like, imagine it with puppeteers and puppet makers. Like, they'd have to make a whole puppet for that.
They got to be real horny and real silly.
Get it done, but make it fun. That's our. That's what we say.
But I think the lesson that we all learned from this episode is that corporations are really nice and they always have our best interests.
Leave them alone. They'll come around, even if it seems like they won't. At the end of the day, they'll come around.
Who are we? I mean, we make $3.50 an hour.
We're
at
not
our
the
job.
store. You're the store. We're the customer. That's the role.
I'm not Bobby Amazon. I have no reason to have an opinion.
Yeah, it's like, you know.
I don't care what those tall women do with their monopoly. Is that what Amazon Corporate is?
Tall humans buying and selling. We don't know.
But you have both opened our eyes up to the subversive comedic nature of Dinosaurs. We had no idea.
We appreciated it. You know, it's just fun to see something that makes you laugh that's not the same meme compilations that we watch nightly.
Yeah. It's kind of nice to know that a small child in 91 was kind of secretly getting these like, corporations are real bad. You know, like kind of like,
small child was Tim.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. You got shaped in this beautiful pizza oven of dinosaurs.
It was me.
All those people, you know, all those Antifa members protesting, you know, against raising against the machine. You can thank Dinosaurs for a lot of that. A lot
so
of
it wasn't just George Soros's money; it was also Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
George Dinosaurs.
Yeah, I was gonna say
this is all coming together.
That lines up.
And George Jefferson is in the show as BP Richfield. This is all. It's all together.
It writes itself.
Yeah, that's why.
But yeah, that was the episode.
Yeah, that's Dinosaurs is the reason why I started, you know, listening to Pennywise and was like, yeah, fuck authority.
Hey,
I'm gonna go down that drain.
Yeah,
that sucks. I'm sorry that you had to listen to Pennywise.
Dinosaur Anthem, one of my favorite songs. Or Dinosaur Hem, one of my favorite songs by Pennywise.
It's my favorite football stadium song.
It just gets you pumped up.
My favorite one.
Are there sports teams? I assume there's sports teams in this world.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the one at their school. It's like the Stampeding or the Raging something.
I thought
they have like pro leagues with millionaire dinosaur players.
I don't. They have wrestling, but I don't think they have
what
and boxing.
Yeah, they have wrestling and boxing. Yeah,
which is simple because you don't have to have 8 million players and stuff like that. I think that. It'd be funny if like everything is like, oh, it's just tennis, like just two, not doubles. Yeah. And wrestling and boxing and oh man, do they love karate competitions.
You know, I would have done though like a fully zoomed out, like make a little, you know, like foosball table of dinos and then close in on like 2 athletes. You know, like that's a way around it for the new series.
Yeah.
Are we going CGI for the reboot? It's cheaper.
Oh, you got to stick to puppets.
There's definitely.
Don't let them talk. You got. Hey, listen. When they relaunch the show and you two are the creative heads, they're gonna try to go CGI. Don't sell out. You're gonna lose the fan base, the diehard dinosaur.
Aaron was saying that should just be
fan
people.
base. Don't be
Aaron
Ryan
said
Johnson.
people, and they should just tell people they're dinosaurs. I do wonder, like, whether there is a secret, like, hardcore fan base hidden about the show. I'm sure there is.
r/dinosaurs, get in there.
I'm assuming, and you ever just like talk about something and then it shows up in your world and you're like, oh my god, we just talked about that. I'm assuming next time I go on Pornhub, to the side there's going to be the dad and the sister. And like, oh no, dinosaurs! Oh no!
What are you doing,
Dinosaurs on Pornhub?
I think the modern equivalent would be TikTok, and it would be a stepsister and a stepbrother who are dating.
Yeah.
The
stepsister gets stuck in the refrigerator on refrigerator day. Oh no, stepbro, I'm stuck in the refrigerator. That's the new play. That's the play next year. Oh no, stepbro, I'm stuck in the refrigerator on refrigerator day. Eve, I'm gonna get in trouble if they find out I was eating in here. I can help you, but it's gonna cost you.
How are you
I feel like you're referencing too deep into that video. You went past what I know, and that's suspicious.
Well, there's going to be some people listening who are going to totally get what I'm talking about. They're going to get what I'm laying down.
Everyone's going to casually pretend they don't get it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
See, I really only get just enough to be like, I think I know where that went, and I'm good with it. Right here is fine.
Next week, so this episode of Refrigerator Day. Next week we're going to be doing season 2, episode 13. What sexual harassment?
Oh, this is a good
title. We missed it by a
week. Yeah, so this one was the next one's written by Brian LePan and David A. Kaplan, which I've decided is one guy pretending he's two people.
Listen, and I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to tell you what, and I'm hearing those names. I'm going to assume that two white guys writing a sitcom in 91 about sexual harassment is going to be very educational.
Oh,
it's going to hit all the bases, and women are going to totally be like, that was great.
Can I guess a line? Harassment, nothing to me. I was staring at her tits.
her dino tits.
Okay, so
dino tits.
This is the we'll talk about it more on the episode, but that episode is the one where I was like, holy shit, I love this show because
he loves sexual harassment.
Finally, a show for me.
But so like how this episode was like, oh, what's a refund? Like this one, we learn how sexual harassment became a thing because the character's name is. His nickname is Sexual Harris. And
no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Harris Teeter almost got canceled for this episode.
Have they ever had like a real sexy dinosaur?
Yeah, that star that they had briefly earlier in I think the paint commercial was a hottie patati.
Okay, because I'm wondering with like
Fran.
Lipstick and hair and kind of curvaceous. The mom's got some curves.
Oh yeah.
She's got mom energy though. We want
I'd subscribe to her OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
We want like a pixel mom, curvy pixel mom version of a dinosaur.
Pixar.
Yeah.
Pixel. I was like, Pixar is the one with the badunkadunks.
That's what I want. I want a real curvaceous dinosaur that makes me be like, am I into dinosaurs?
That starts a few ideas of fandom.
Like I want hopefully you'll run across a dinosaur and then your listeners will be like, hey, when I was 10 and I watched TJF and I saw the hot neighbor dinosaur MILF lady come over and be like, my husband's never paying attention to me. That all these guys at home were just like, that was my first erection.
I wanted to give her a bone.
Well, so the sexual harassment episode involves Monica, who's in real estate, and she's recently divorced. She's the first dinosaur.
She's the first divorce
to get a divorce.
Dinosaur, yeah.
Wow.
So I'm just spoiling the episode, but
don't spoil the episode.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We'll say it right after we end the episode because it is an interesting. I read about it. I don't watch ahead, but I did have to read about this one because I was worried. And also, Tim's fiance is going to be on the show because I am not going to get on this podcast without having a woman's perspective and do an episode about.
Hey, that's nice of you.
Yeah, we had the same thing when we had an episode that was about tails because tails are breasts in this show. It doesn't really make sense, but that's the 1-to-1.
That's what the men.
I just texted Nick DiPaolo and he said he is available next week if you want him on the sexual harassment episode.
He'll be like, this is just like in '93 at my office job.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to reschedule Artie Lang for another episode, and then. That's.
I
had to check to make sure Artie Lang wasn't dead.
Yeah,
okay. Not yet.
Put him with Anthony. Put him with Anthony Cumia. That'll be a good 1-2 punch for the season 1 finale.
So yeah, that's the episode.
Hey, we want to thank you both so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us and bringing us into the world of dinosaurs.
Opening,
for me, finally.
Opening our eyes to, I feel like, I feel like if this is like if I go watch an old G.I. Joe episode and they were just like, what are we even doing in the military anyway? Like, are we really helping anything, or are we causing more problems and making people kind of hate America? That's, I feel like, the lesson we got today. We had our minds blown.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and we appreciate that. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and if you just want the link to our Google Drive for all the episodes, just let me know. But I think it's like 2 weeks until January 29th when it comes out on Disney Plus. So
yeah, don't ask how we got the episodes. Just enjoy them.
Yeah.
I mean, I own the DVDs, so legally I'm allowed to steal them, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah. Hey, if you're only making a copy of the car and we're all driving away, where's the harm?
You wouldn't steal a car.
Yeah.
You wouldn't steal a car and then let all your friends drive it for free, would you?
Maybe I would. Maybe that's the life for me.
I think that's what we're going for here.
That's exactly what Bernie Sanders wants to do with our money.
Yeah. So Marty and Sarah, is there anything that you guys would like to plug before we let you go?
Marty and Sarah love wrestling every Friday wherever you get podcasts. Remember, next year's Refrigerator Day. It's not too early to start planning. Make sure you have money set aside for your refrigerator rent.
Yes.
We also say abolish all refrigerator rent. That's something that we've spray painted on our garage, and we stand by it.
All bosses are bastards.
All bosses are bastards. All dinosaur bosses are bastards. Abolish return policy.
Yeah, we're making a whole red bubble for our dinosaurs-based merch. It's only for you guys to buy it, so please buy away. Request the ones that you want. I'm making $1 every, bag that gets sold.
So yeah, and as a fan and a listener, I do recommend Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling. And I'm not just saying it because I'm just like a huge fan of it, but it's definitely. So I work in a warehouse and I get to listen to podcasts all day for like 8 hours while I work, and every week I have my whole rotation of stuff that I listen to. But anytime your episode comes up, I listen to it immediately. I love the show so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's just like that one bright spot in your week, where it's just like everything else that comes out like on a Monday. If I'm behind on everything, I'll be like, oh, it's Friday. There's a new Marty and Sarah. I gotta listen to that right away. So.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And and even if you're not like a huge, I think our podcast is good too. If you have like a significant other who doesn't like wrestling, we'll help bridge the gap.
There are some wrestling that's hard to just dive in, but we're gentle.
We'll give you enough side quests of like who's got the best nipples or butts, and we'll give you enough little side quests homework to do you're like, all right, if they're gonna have it on, I can at least watch and see if this guy's nipples are all that Sarah makes him out to be.
Yeah, Trent's nipples are the best in the biz.
Yeah, and I love the buddies are just like, that's the one thing I had Ben, I was just like, you gotta listen to the Buddy Rumble and like episodes like that, because I love that, and then like the interaction between the buddies, it's great.
Yeah, I loved all the animatics I saw. I'm assuming, do you draw the animatics, Sarah?
Yeah, I just started doing them digitally like a month ago, maybe. I used to always do them on note cards, and then I'm starting to get good at Procreate, so I'm trying to learn Procreate and still put out the art every week for the episodes. It's been fun.
I need to learn how to do it. I've been doing it. I started doing animatics for our show, just using notebook paper and pens, and then using whatever video editor I have. But it takes so long.
Everything takes long, and it's it pays off the more you use it. But it took me forever because I was like, I don't know if I can ever understand layering at all. And then one day I was like, oh, okay, I can kind of. But it just takes forever to learn any of this stuff.
Yeah,
but it's
at least
doing.
There's YouTube videos for everything now. You can learn almost anything now.
Free professors out there in the world.
So the podcast is our voice audition for when you two bring back dinosaurs.
That's the long con, baby.
Everyone who's ever guest on here is going to be on the show.
Thank you. I would like to be a video store clerk. I would appreciate
and
that.
I would like to be a woman who is sexually harassed.
It's great.
Or possibly I could be a therapist, and the dad comes to me because he's like, well, I keep saying I'm going to kill myself, and apparently people are saying that's a cry for help.
But back in the day,
That's
therapists
crazy,
were what
Marty.
you
They don't
peed
make
on when
therapy
you
for
were
men.
mad. So there's like a new concept of being listened to.
Yeah. I'd be like, I don't know. Don't you think it's weird that your kids have to hear you always claiming you're going to go kill yourself in the garage? I don't know. That might be a little harmful to their
Disney
growth.
will delete it anyway. It's fine.
I'm interested when it finally goes up on Disney Plus if they like remove a few episodes or something like that. Because
what if they add more? What if it becomes like a Ren and Stimpy reboot?
I'm going to go out to the garage and build a chair.
To stand
They're
on.
going to
I
replace
want
the
to kill
guns with
myself.
walkie-talkies.
yeah.
But yeah, thanks for being on, and we gotta thank. Oh yeah, thank you to our friend Jeremy Hunter from Scotchy Network for doing our theme song. You can check out Scotchy Network on YouTube, and
We love
Jared's
Scotchy Network
bands.
so much.
Yeah, we do. Very
good.
impressed.
Yeah.
Very impressed.
I really went like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy did the theme song, and we have played in my band. Ben and Jeremy have guests.
Yeah, I got to play trombone next to Jeremy on stage.
Oh, starstruck.
I was so nervous when I saw that they were at the show, and I was like, if Jeremy plays with us, I'm leaving because I can't be next. They're too good.
Oh my
Like it's
gosh.
unfair.
I played for Sarah, Lita Ford's "Kiss Me Deadly" earlier in the day, and then I remembered, wait a minute,
Real
there
Big
is
Fish?
a Real Big Fish ska version of this on Metal Goes Punk Volume 1, and I fired that up, and Sarah went, "Oh, interesting." Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
When
That's Scott.
when I knew we wanted to do like a theme song for the show, I'm like, we got to get Jeremy to do it because it's perfect.
It's a ska punk cover of the Dinosaurs theme song.
That's all.
So good.
And all of those TGIF shows should have had ska bands doing their theme songs.
Every single
And-
one.
I mean,
Step
it
by
just makes
step.
sense.
That's what Nickelodeon did.
Family Matters.
Yeah, Nickelodeon was smart. They were just like, yeah, just get a ska band and do the fun intro to this.
At least
exactly.
Fox did it right with Malcolm in the Middle. But even though they're not a ska
That's
band,
true.
But
But that's
No.
a ska punk song.
Ska punk song, and you see murderer Chris Benoit getting put in the Sharpshooter by Bret the Hitman Hart, and they never took it out.
nope.
That's amazing.
Nope, they just kept it in. They also have this guy who murdered his kids and killed himself and his wife.
I
They
had
keep
to-
that in the intro.
I had to
That was Earl Sinclair.
I had to point that out to my fiance because they were watching a bunch. I'm like, hey,
It's never not weird. It's never not weird.
yeah, because
Never not weird to bring it up.
she watched the Dark Side of the Ring. We watched together. Like we watched every episode, but we watched the Chris Benoit one, and she saw like what it did to me, and like
Yeah.
I was like, look, it's Chris Benoit in the intro.
Oh my god, that would have been so wild in that Dark Side of the Ring if they had like Bob Holly and he's like, man, I can't even watch my favorite show, Malcolm in the Middle, anymore because Chris is in the intro and it just fucks with my head, and I can't watch a TV show for laughs when I see my friend in there.
The whole thing sucks. And but yeah, so
We brought it full circle with talking. We brought it all full circle with the dad saying he's gonna go kill himself.
For sure.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no.
I cursed your podcast.
Also, thanks to our friend Amy Shenanigans for doing our logo, drawing the portraits of me and Tim that I added terrifying hand puppets on top of. And then thanks to our producer, Zach George, for being the goodest of boys and producing for us.
Yeah.
And you
Sarah
can check out
asked-
his band on Spotify.
Sarah asked if she could sing the official Refrigerator Day song before
Yes.
we left.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Please.
Well, we can close with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 30 seconds.
It's a rare condition, refrigerator day, to read any good news when your boss won't pay. You a big bonus in refrigerator day. I'm gonna go kill myself. I'll hang myself, yay. Well, then there must be some magic glue inside my Christmas pageant to read any good news. I've looped it back. Refrigerator day.
Perfect way to end the episode. Thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of your extinction. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.